I've gone through a weird journey as a Thunder fan. When I first became a fan, they had one of the best young cores we've ever seen, with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka. They went to the 2012 NBA Finals. They were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals against the 2016 73-9 Warriors. Then obviously, this happened.
The news again coming in moments ago, Kevin Durant heading to the Golden State Warriors.
We went into the Russell Westbrook triple-double show. Then they managed to trade for Paul George, which in terms of team success really didn't work out. But all those players are no longer on this team. But the same man that drafted Durant, Westbrook, and Harden in back-to-back-to-back drafts has been working some magic, and we need to talk about it. Right now, the Thunder only have 2 outgoing draft picks. Their upcoming second-round pick is going to Boston, and they have a lottery-protected first-round pick in 2022 going to the Hawks. If that isn't conveyed, it becomes 2 seconds. If you guys have been following the league, you know Sam Presti loves him some draft picks, so much so that we could have a whole video just about all the details of their future first-round selections. From now till 2026, including their personal selections, they're projected to have at least 3 first-rounders every single season. That's absolutely insane, something we've never seen before. Most of them are coming between their 2 big deals, as in Paul George to the Clippers and Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets. But they've also managed to make some really solid moves, constantly flipping assets that they acquired from previous trades, such as Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, Kelly Oubre Jr., and Danny Green, who they all got at least a first-round pick for. They're also going to average almost 3 second-round picks a draft till 2026 as well. This is absolutely crazy, and it really gives the Oklahoma City Thunder easily the most interesting future in the league. Now, you would think that a team with an asset pool like this would be taking the court on a nightly basis with a bunch of G-Leaguers that no one's really excited about going forward, but that's far from the case. Not only has Sam Presti just seemed to come out on top of practically every single trade with all this draft capital, but his eye for diamonds in the rough lately has truly been incredible to watch. Now, the clear vocal point of this team's future is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There's no doubt about that. They managed to get him in the Paul George trade, fresh off a rookie season where he averaged 11 points and 3 assists on solid efficiency. Everyone thought that he had a solid career ahead, but I don't think anyone, including the Thunder, expected to get what they've gotten out of SGA this early on. He's in just his 3rd season, and he's averaging 24 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Clearly amazing, but the 22-year-old 6'5" guard is also shooting a ridiculous 51% from the field, 42% from 3, and 81% from the line. This kid's future is truly, truly bright. Putting aside the rest of the roster, just having him and all these future draft assets would make this team's future scary, but man, it doesn't stop there. This team's 3rd leading scorer right now is Dort, who they signed as an undrafted free agent following the 2019 NBA draft. He got off to a really hard start in this season, but since then, he's slowed down. He's averaging 13 points, shooting just 39% from the field and 33% from 3. Obviously, not what you would like to see, but we've seen what he's capable of in that stretch at the beginning of the season, where he truly looked like he was going to be a great 3-and-D wing going forward. He's 6'4" with a 6'8" wingspan, who's built like an NFL linebacker, definitely not your normal NBA wing. Now, he's on contract till 2023, getting less than $2 million a season, so if he goes back to the form he had at the start of the season, great. They've got a great young piece going forward. If he doesn't, the Thunder have him on a very small contract and don't have the burn of using draft capital on him. The Thunder's first-round selection in that 2019 draft was Darius Bazley. Bazley was a really interesting prospect, as he was a top-ranked recruit out of high school, but decided not to go to college and instead take a very unique path, getting an internship with New Balance. Following that, the Thunder took him with the 23rd pick in the draft. His rookie season really wasn't that great, but this year, he's been given a huge role, getting around 31 minutes a game, starting in all 36 of his performances. He's averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds, shooting 39% from the field and 29% from 3. Clearly, he's been struggling with efficiency, but the potential is still clearly there with the wing-like skill set he possesses at the power forward position, but I do have to make it clear, I'm not super bullish on his future. In the most recent draft, the Thunder held 2 first-round picks, the first of which was the 17th, which they used to draft Aleksej Pokuševski. During that draft as a Thunder fan, based on who was still on the board, I was really hoping they took Tyrese Maxey or RJ Hampton. I didn't know what to think when they took this Poku guy. I started to get more excited when I watched some film. He's 7 foot with a 7'3" wingspan, who clearly has a high ceiling with his skill set. I saw people referring to him as a point forward. On the season so far, he's averaged 8 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 34% from the field and 29% from 3. But that really doesn't tell you the full story. As the season has gone on, I've really become confident in what this kid is capable of. There are some clear concerns. He's a twig, but at 7 foot, his ability to make reads with the ball in his hands and his super smooth shooting has me really impressed. The real-life unicorn Poku has started to get a lot more attention recently. In the last 12 games, he's averaged 14 points, shooting 40% from 3. He's had some big games, including his most recent performance against the Charlotte Hornets, where he went off for 25 points, shooting 7 for 11 from 3. It's time for you to get on the Poku bandwagon before it's too late. The Thunder ended up trading away their second first-round selection, but in the second round, were able to grab Theo Maledon, a selection I really loved. I hadn't followed him super closely as a prospect, but going into the season, he was constantly mocked as a lottery selection. So given that, and the fact that he's 6'4" with a 6'9" wingspan, I really liked them taking the risk in the second round. He's had a pretty big role so far this year, getting around 27 minutes a game, where he's averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 38% from the field and 36% from 3. Again, nothing crazy, but I like what I've seen from him so far, and he's a good piece to have locked up. Now, those are the main pieces that the Thunder have drafted recently, but they've also managed to sign or trade for some other really solid young talent. In high school, I was really impressed with Moses Brown, as I got a chance to watch him a good bit when he was playing alongside Cole Anthony. But since then, and up until now, I really hadn't heard much about him. He has a freak of nature frame, standing at 7'2" with a 7'4" wingspan. He would end up going to the 2019 NBA draft, where he would go undrafted, but was signed by the Portland Trailblazers. He spent most of that season in the G League. Ahead of this year, the Thunder would sign him to a two-way deal, and to start this G League season, he would absolutely dominate, winning G League Player of the Week, leading the OKC Blue to a 5-0 record while averaging 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. After that, the Thunder had no choice but to bring him up, and with the team deciding not to play Al Horford for the rest of the season, he's gotten a really solid chance, and he's been impressive. He's averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds, and a block a game. He's already had some big games. Against Boston, he went off for 21 points and 23 rebounds. He doesn't have a well-diversified skill set on the offensive side, but his ability on the glass, especially the offensive glass and his rim protecting at this crazy frame, makes him a solid piece going forward with the upside to be much more. The Thunder hit the jackpot a few days ago, converting his two-way deal to a contract that's going to keep him locked up till 2024, getting paid no more than $2 million a season. It doesn't stop there. They just got Tony Bradley at the deadline, who looked extremely impressive, stepping up for the 76ers in the absence of Joel Embiid. They traded for former Kansas sharpshooter Svi Mykhailiuk, who since coming to the team has averaged 10 points, shooting 45% from the field and 35% from 3. They've got Ty Jerome, who was the Suns' first-round pick a season ago after being a key part of Virginia's NCAA championship run. So far, he's averaging 9 points as a 39% three-point shooter. And now this young core isn't comparable to teams like the Pelicans, who have Zion, Ingram, and Lonzo. A lot of the guys I mentioned, aside from SGA, don't have star potential, and that's fine. But considering that this team does have SGA and an insane amount of draft picks, these pieces are sneaky good and flat out underrated. OKC's in an interesting spot going into this 2021 NBA draft. They have their personal first-round selection, which currently has the 7th best odds at the #1 pick. Now, this could easily jump up a couple spots before the end of the season, but if it were to stay where it's currently projected, there's some interesting opportunities. I would personally love to see them go with James Bouknight, but based on recent mocks, that's probably a bit of a reach. It's more likely that they would go with guys like Florida State's Scotty Barnes or Gonzaga sharpshooter Corey Kispert. The real interesting scenario for them in this draft comes from their other select. Right now, they're getting 2 of the most favorable picks out of their pick, Houston's and Miami's. Obviously, that sounds amazing, with the Houston Rockets having the 2nd worst record in the league, but that is top 4 protected. Right now, the Rockets have a 48% chance of falling outside of the top 4. If that were to happen, we could see some crazy scenarios. The Thunder could possibly hold the #1 pick and the 5th overall pick, walk away with Cade Cunningham and Jonathan Kuminga. Now, yes, that's unlikely, but not as crazy as it sounds. If the Rockets end up in the top 4, they're going to get the Miami pick, which is currently projected at the 17th spot, which really isn't that exciting in this draft. This is just one of the many insane scenarios they're going to be in the next 6 years. That's crazy to think about. If they can hit in the draft in the next couple years, the league really needs to watch out with all the trade possibilities this team has with that many assets in their back pocket. We need to buckle up. But that's the end of the video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and peace.